Thank you for joining us to explore the blended offering of the Master of Global Management here at Royal Roads University. I'm so pleased to be with Tim and Deb. So Timothy Kituri, I should have practiced that before, Tim,
That's
Program
perfect.
Manager. Thank you. If you want to say hi.
Hi, everyone. I'm Tim Kituri, Program Manager with the Master of Global Management. What a wonderful pleasure it is to be here and speak with you about this exciting program.
Agreed, yeah. And I'm with Dr. Deb Linehan, Program Head, if you want to say hi, Deb.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. We are super excited about MGM and MGM Nest, the culture of global management, and an important program at Railroads. We hope you'll join us.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that program has been running for a while and we love the students. And myself, I'm Nancy Prévost-Maurice, education specialist here at Royal Roads. So we're very pleased to be here. We have some enrollment advisor in the room, so welcome. Those folks are so important at Royal Roads. They work with all prospect students to answer questions. So they will be putting links in the chat as we go today. And for those watching the recording, you'll get those links with the recording in a few days. As we get started today, I would like to start with land acknowledgement. So maybe if you want to ground your feet on the floor, even close your eyes, maybe just creating a little pause here during your busy day, taking a deep breath. And let's acknowledge the land, the traditional lands that we're on. Here at Royal Roads, we are on the unceded territories of the Lekwungen-speaking people, known as the Songhees and Esquimalt nations. And it's really with deep gratitude that we learn, play, work, study here on those lands where Indigenous and non-Indigenous people come together. If you know the Indigenous lands you're on, feel free to use the chat, and also feel free to use the chat just to introduce who you are, what you're looking for today, if you have any specific questions, if you're already in the process of applying to the program, just anything you'd like, and then we'll be able to build some momentum in the chat here. And I thought today we can start with a short video about railroads because, of course, this program we're talking about will be mostly online, but you're still coming to campus. And I feel that every time I travel and meet prospects across Canada and across the world, people are excited to be like, what does it look like? So instead of sharing some picture, I thought of sharing a quick video. So here we go.
Welcome to Royal Roads University. Our spectacular oceanfront 260-acre campus lies at the southern tip of Vancouver Island. A National Historic Site surrounded by old-growth forest, Royal Roads is only a 25-minute drive from downtown Victoria, the capital of British Columbia. Our campus is located on the traditional lands of the Kosupsum and Lekwungen ancestors and families. Here, you'll find a life-changing education in an inspirational learning environment like no other. The first place you'll want to visit on campus is the Sequoia Building. The welcome desk is open daily to help you settle in and start your Royal Roads journey. The centerpiece of Royal Roads University is the historic Hatley Castle. You may recognize it from countless television shows and feature films. In fact, Hollywood blockbusters X-Men and Deadpool were both shot here. One of the things that makes the Royal Roads campus so special is our outdoor spaces. We've got lots of social gathering spots and even more places to just be by yourself. With Canada's mildest climate, you're able to enjoy the outdoors any time of year. While there are countless other spaces on campus that we'd love to share with you, you'll have to just see them for yourself.
I love that, and I love to think about the mildest climate in Canada because, as you can tell, I have a little French accent from Quebec, and since I moved to Victoria, and I'm here at Royal Roads for 7 years now, and I just love the campus, and I love the students and the staff and faculty who work here. And before I pass it over to Deb and Tim, of course, to talk more, really dig into the program, I just want to let you know kind of broadly why explore Royal Roads University, why join us. So point number one, we see life as a qualification. This is the beauty of our programs because we're mainly for working professionals. So people in the classroom, your instructor, your faculty, they all have work in the field for many, many years, and they bring life into the classroom. It also means that we do flexible admission, which we will talk in a few minutes. That means that all your work experience and your volunteer experience will count towards your admission to the program. Profs who know your name. I don't know about you, but for me, I went to school before where I was just sitting passive in a big auditorium with 200 people. That's not the type of education I'm looking for. Here, everybody actually on campus will get to know your name, and online as well. So you really get to know your professors and your cohort as well. Learning based on life, so what you learn in the program matters out there. So we bring all the real life stuff that you might experience at home or at work, and you bring it to the classroom to discuss with your cohort, with your prof, and kind of do assignment even about it. Connections for Life, we just had our alumni weekend here on campus last weekend. Hundreds of people coming back to campus to meet with their cohort, even if they graduated 5, 10, 20 years ago. So really the connection you're building in the program will serve you for the rest of your career. And we were built differently, which means we always have done online education. So sometimes that might be something that you're a little bit resistant, and we'll talk about it today. But really the online experience with all the platforms, all the tools we have, it's really beneficial because since 1995, we have been doing online learning, and the blended model that personally is my favorite, the one that you study from home, but you'll visit us on campus a few times during your program. So this is not something we did during COVID that we pivoted online. It's really something we have been doing for 30 years now. And something very fun too is that we are a changemaker campus. So after the session, you can Google Ashoka U, but we're only a few institutions in North America with that designation. So it's all about, as you can read, innovation, preparing students to address world problems, especially in this program. It's really global, like really learning from everybody in the world and all the situations. It's all about supporting others and act for the good of all. So we're really proud of having that designation. Only a few institutions in Canada and in North America have it. So I invite you to learn more. And enough of me, I want to talk about the program, so I'll pass it over to Deb and Tim.
Well, thank you, Nancy. Yes, we're very proud and excited to talk about the Masters of Global Management program. So imagine yourself doing business around the world, navigating diverse cultures in a global marketplace. It's an interesting statement, but it's broader than what it might appear too, because perhaps you're working in Canada, and Canada itself is a very multicultural country. This is a very relevant program for those working in Canada in global workplaces, because the two outcomes of doing the Master's Global Management is building that global mindset, understanding the intercomplexities of doing business internationally, but also building our intercultural competences. So, but perhaps also you're thinking about a career with a multinational or working as an expat or a trade professional. The MGM program is like an MBA, but with more of that international flair. And it's a unique one, I think, in Canada. There are a few others in the United States, the Thunderbird School, which is a very famous school. In Canada, there are a couple of programs with the global management focus in Ottawa. So we think it's wonderful to be able to offer this program at Railroads. And it runs parallel to our on-campus program for Master's Global Management, which is one of the larger programs here. And do you have this slide? Oh yeah, there you go. So it's a generalist program in that you're going to be learning, many of the business competencies across, all the different fields: marketing, finance, accounting, leadership. And then we have unique courses that are added in so that, for that global mindset. So it's really relevant to a broad range of students. I would say our students are mid to early career professionals, probably 30 to 40, maybe high 20s. As Nancy said, the classroom provides such a rich conversational experience because everyone comes with different perceptions and experiences, and it is very valuable that way. And also an intimate setting. So the cohort model, I think, is unique because you build those deep relationships. It's small groups in the classroom, 20 to 30, and probably in this case, 15 to 20. So I think it's a very rich experience. And I like the blend of the residency and the online, as Nancy is saying, because it gives you that ultimate connection with people and the ultimate level of convenience. I think we can go on to
the next slide. And I love what you said, Deb. I think the generalist words sometimes were like, oh, is it good? But I think in the workplace, it's really good right now to know a little bit about everything, right?
That's so relevant now more than ever. Absolutely. So the program structure, 19 months. It's a 2-year program condensed somewhat, with the 2 residencies bookended, one at the very beginning so that you can establish those relationships. There's an orientation to the university. We connect you up with some of the MGM students on campus. We do lots and lots of fun activities, and you're getting to know your professors and doing courses at that time as well. The really unique and exciting part is the second residency, more of a capstone towards the end of your program. And this is where we do a 2-country trip. This year we're going to Germany and Turkey. So fabulous. And it's an action-packed 2 weeks where we're visiting sites, company sites, and learning about supply chain management and operations and change management while we're there. A very wonderful cultural experience. So those residencies, the blended program, and then the completion options. I think another aspect of MGM, you've got the generalist program, but then you can specialize at the end. So this means you can do a research project, you could do an internship, graduate certificates. We have like just so many very cool graduate certificates and courses across Royal Roads University. And I think Tim's going to talk a bit about these in a little more detail. But because we have a crossover with the MBA program, we are giving transfer credit to some of their courses, and you could double up your business education with a dual degree in the MBA program when you finish the MGM with just taking a further 6 courses. So lots of flexibility, lots of learning, lifelong learning, as we say. So I'll turn it over to Tim to talk a little bit more about the completion options.
Thank you. Yeah, it's takes me down memory lane to hear all this about the blended offering of MGM. We started with the first offering on campus in 2011, and our first blended offering online and on campus was in 2015. And I was looking back at the list of students that were in that first offering, and it so happened that I ran into one the other day. He's still on the island and working in the provincial government. But yeah, just such a interesting space to be in right now. And speaking of this relevant part of the program, I think that is the one best part of Royal Roads University in general and the MGM. Just the other day, I was talking to a gentleman that is retired from healthcare leadership, and he we were talking about a lot of things in general, but in his professional world, he used to hire a lot of graduates of our masters in leadership with a healthcare specialization. So he is long since retired. But we were talking about the value of graduate level education in the workplace and how he saw that as different and important and impactful and relevant. And this, again, just reinforced what we are doing today in MGM, what we're doing at Royal Roads, that our programs really do meet that need for relevant, applied, professionally oriented skills. And MGM and the blended MGM as this generalist program gives you such a diversity of tools and skills, experiences, And where you can specialize and really focus is with our completion options. So with a research project, you can get into very, very deep research. And we have, and I think, Deb, this is one of our pride and joys when our students do the amazing research and they get published in professional journals, and they can showcase all of this expertise that they have taken, again, from years of industry experience, and made a practical and applied with an academic focus. So our research project is very, very impactful. And the internship, which is akin to a research project, but research that is done within an organization. So for the most part, our students that are working full-time really don't find an internship as applied, but it could be as interesting as looking and moving to a different department in your organization and using an academic lens to enrichen and broaden that perspective in the organization. So let's not discount internship as only for one particular set of students. And our graduate certificates, we recently, and by recently, this was probably about 6 years ago, have incorporated all of the graduate certificates at Royal Roads as completion options into the MGM. So students that have graduate certificates currently can transfer those into the MGM and get that completion option portion of the program taken care of with those 6 credits from a graduate certificate. And also, if you're in that stage of trying to figure out how best to apply the MGM, tacking on one of the professionally oriented graduate certificates, from project management to coaching to change, leadership and change, all of these graduate certificates that ladder into professional credentials are then recognized as the MGM. So the sum of it is generalist program, and where you can make this unique and tailored to your particular needs and industries is through the completion options. We have conversations with students right from the beginning. Where do you want to go? How do you want to make best use of this MGM? And we work very closely with all of our students to guide onto which of our completion options makes most sense. There are a lot, so this can be a little bit overwhelming, but with all of that choice comes that ability to specialize in something that is very meaningful professionally and personally. I love talking about this. I can go on for a long time, so maybe the next slide.
Well, and one thing that's not on here, but I think is also unique, is we have a partnership with MIT in the States, and that we also think there are 4 programs there that we offer for credit transfer as well. So anybody who's technically minded, there's also a global development program there, finance, economics, lots of options at MIT too.
And that linkage also, again, it ties back to how relevant and practical the program is, that it is recognized so broadly.
Mm-hmm.
Totally agree. And thank you for adding that about the grad certificates, Tim, because that's a conversation we have a lot with prospects. And even now in the chat, someone was asking me about, oh, I was interested in a grad certificate in change management, but now that means I can include it and get a master degree.
Mm-hmm.
So that's correct.
Yeah. Save some money too.
Very
And when we're
exciting.
thinking about the graduate certificates, so the project management was the first one, and the conversation was, well, you can having a degree in a master of global management, you're managing projects along you're managing complex problems, and one project at a time with that project management certificate tied in, and it works well with all of the other graduate certificates.
I would imagine. And if you don't mind, another question I see here is, will all students follow a block of courses at the beginning and then go to completion options?
That's the general pathway, but I think the other cool thing about MGM is that we have a lot of flexibility because we offer these courses in, we can tailor them. Say life happens and you need to slow down or whatever, then we can make some changes. Usually they take 2 courses at a time, three to start with in the first residency, and then 2 courses after that until they do their completion options.
Wonderful. I'm getting a thumbs up. So I think we answered that, and I'll make sure to include a link, or maybe it's already in the chat about the courses, yeah, and how that looks like. And I will move you to the next slide.
And yeah, I think one of this is the Forum for International Trade Training is another really important partnership that we have and we continue to maintain. We see a few students coming in through this, and also alumni looking for the credential Certified International Trade Practitioner through the Forum for International Trade Training. This is a useful credential for anybody that is interested in international trade, so that documentation, and also the Canadian Foreign Service, if it's a whatever that could look like, trade attaché, all of those Canadian Foreign Service designations really find value in, and some of them require that CITP, Certified International Trade Practitioner. So they also recognize the MGM as meeting the academic qualifications for the designation. And it's the additional piece is either a few specialized courses or a research project that can be applied to achieve that designation. But again, one more time, it is that the realization from this internationally recognized credential that the MGM courses meet those requirements for the academic portion of the credential. And the next slide. And this also speaks to our graduate certificates that have the same link to professional organizations. So our project management is a PMP certified, and we have the Human Resource Credential, International Coach Federation, and Association of Change Management. So all of our graduate certificates, most of our graduate certificates are professionally linked. The professional organizations recognize these, and MGM also ties into the credentials that that you're looking for. Speaking again to that relevance, that when you go into the workforce with an MGM, with these graduate certificates, there is that recognition and validity to the work that has been accomplished. And also, I think management consulting, which is not here, that can also be applied.
Absolutely.
Oh, very good to know. Yeah, and I can attest, I was at that CPHR conference last week in Vancouver, and I met many graduates that said that the program really like kind of propels or like level up their career and what they're doing within the organization. So that's amazing.
And I think that is the value of the graduate certificates is the applied side. It's that the sharp end of the stick. So when we layer on the MGM, that goes into that academic depth that Deb was speaking about. So with all of those functional areas layered on, so you come out with such a depth of knowledge and a very, very important way of differentiating yourself in a very competitive work environment now. So having those two and having that ability to speak to two credentials is very, very useful, and two meaningful credentials. I think the next slide is speaks to the learning outcomes. I think that's yours.
Yeah, so just to sum up, I think what's unique about Royal Roads, and we're always talking about our secret sauce, is the learning, teaching, research model, which is built upon the UNESCO 5 pillars of learning. You know, learning how to learn, learning how to be, learning how to work with others. The thing that's interesting about this is, yes, we can teach content, and we do, and you're going to be well skilled when you graduate, but you're going to have those human skills. If you look at any job application, they want to know how you can work with others or solve problems, think critically. And that's what differentiates our teaching model. So it's really sustainable after you finish your degree. And it's why so many students say that their education is transformative. We have our tagline here is it's life.changing. And it truly is. And so it's a very nice list of learning outcomes, and I can attest that these are are transferable and that you will learn how to do these things. So that's our program in a nutshell. And I guess, you're thinking about the next slide here, a career in global management. Not advancing, but there, oh yeah. So just to recap, internationally focused business degree, you gain a big perspective, a global perspective, and working with others like yourselves that have that same idea, that same multicultural mindset, and you're building a global network, both through those international partnerships that Tim mentioned, and through your cohort buddies. You'll be prepared, you'll be agile, sensitive to the global workplace, and we spend a lot of time looking at the news and what's happening around the world and discussing the complexities. So it's always lively and relevant and fun. Oh, we always say we want to have some fun. So I think I'll turn it over to you, Nancy, to talk about, the logistics of it.
Yeah, for sure. And yes, people get excited, or maybe you're already in the process of applying for that next intake coming up. So just a last question I have for you, Deb and Tim. You mentioned that the teamwork, and is it something that students do a lot within the program? Because I know we do a lot of programs at Railroad, and sometimes we put on a slide teamwork, and people say, "Oh, all universities do teamwork," but what we do here is really special.
Oh, it's a great question, Nancy. And do all universities do teamwork? I think Railroads is one of the unique universities across Canada that have team coaches. And this is a research-informed, evidence-informed model of how to build teams, how to manage teams. So at least one assessment in each course is team-based. And every quarter, the team coaches go through a learning exercise, a scaffolding up of different skills and knowledge that you learn. So I think it's a fabulous model for learning to work with each other, but also how to manage multicultural teams, which is something that's not easy to do, especially in remote environments. So double learning there for sure. And it is unique to Railroads, the team coaches.
Wonderful. Thank you for addressing that. And yeah, now people might be asking, like, how do we do? How do I apply for the next intake? And this program, of course, is coming every year. So we have that intake coming up in September 2025, which is, I guess, only a few months from now. And we will have it again in 2026. But if you're in the process of saying, yes, this is my time, I'm starting in the fall and I'm doing it, you have still a month to apply and submit your documents. So it's very easy. You go to the website, railroads.ca, you click the apply button, and then you will pay your admission fee of $136.39, and then you will be prompted to add your documents. So you will have to submit documents such as official transcripts from past secondary institutions. You will have a detailed resume or CV. So this is, again, for us, for the admission team to get to know you. You will put almost like a resume, but you'll really add everything that is related to global management, all the, again, work experience, education experience, even volunteer experience that you have. You'll also join a personal statement. And for me, when I applied to a master here, that was my favorite part, is you really have to sit and be like, why do I want to do that program? And who am I? Like, you're kind of selling yourself. And that's a good exercise to do as well. So you see all your strengths, and you also see, like, I don't want to see weaknesses, but you're like, this is what I want to learn, right? This is why I'm joining a degree. There's some things I want to get to know a little bit better. And you all state that in the personal statement. And please do not worry, all of that I'm saying is written really clearly on the website, what we expect of you. And we can, when I finish sharing the slides, we can answer questions too. We also ask for 2 reference letters. So typically we ask for one academic, one professional letters, and those will come directly from the people, for example, your director or someone you work, your program head at the past school you attended, and they will send those letters directly to Railroads. So this is kind of to build your application with us. Standard admission, this is something I mentioned at the beginning. So if you're coming from more of a traditional way, you have done a 4-year undergrad degree, you have a good GPA, you have 2 years of full-time work experience, and you meet, as you can see here, academic writing and thinking. Let's start that again, sorry. If you have your 4-year undergrad and you have a 2 years of relevant work experience, you're considered as a standard admission. And this is not something you have to check as you apply on the program. It's really something that the admission team will just review and let you know. But let's say you have that 4-year undergrad degree, but you didn't get that GPA of B, life happened, we understand. Then you will be typically asked to do that course here with professional continuous studies, which is called academic writing and critical thinking. And personally, I had to do it a few years ago and I loved it. It's kind of just extra bonus for you to be ready to join a master degree. And again, this is the wonderful admission team will review your documents and let you know. And if you're like, oh no, I don't have that 4-year degree for whatever reason, you can be still admitted from flexible admissions. So that means that you don't have your undergrad degree maybe, or you don't have the 4-year. And then as you can see here, the work experience will really help. So that says 4 years here of experience. And if you have 2-3 years of related post-secondary institution, that will be 6 years of relevant full-time experience. And that just talks as well of the quality of the people who will join the program. So people in your cohort will have tons of experience. And I think I'm covering there's like so many little distinctions. So I think instead of reading it all, I'll just let you read it and then we'll discuss in a few minutes because it can be quite overwhelming, flexible admission, but just please know that if you have the strength already, that combination of education and work is very pertinent to apply here. And of course, we ask you to have a solid academic and business research, writing and critical thinking skills. And it's always because we want you to be successful. And this is why we have prerequisite, maybe courses that you can take as you prep to go into the cohort, let's say in September 2025 or 2026. And this is all documents and links that we will share with you with the recording. I don't want to scare people, but I just want to kind of showcase that it needs a bit of preparation for you to apply. But when you have all that, you're really like you have so many good chances to succeed in your career and in the degree. Language requirement, you might be like me and English is not your first language. So there's a few ways that you can let us know. You can submit English language proficiency scores. You can maybe have your degree from another institution in English, or you can also work with our team here with the Global Learning and Language Center that have a pathway program. So you build your confidence in English and then you join the cohort. Is there anything I'm missing, Deb and Tim here?
Oh, I think that's well said, Nancy. The work experience, I mean, the flexi admissions is really a cornerstone of Railroads because what we value is people's experiences, their work experiences, life experiences, because they bring that to the classroom. So yes, there's academic rigor to the program, but we recognize that there's so much more to each of us as individuals that we bring. And so that's the whole piece of flexible admissions. And so I would not be too concerned about this if you've got, some other, whether it's in for-profit or not-for-profit agencies, volunteerism, the things that you've been doing to build out the things that you love and you're interested in that make you unique. And then, the writing and those prep courses are, as you say, just to make sure that you feel confident going into the program. They are really wonderful programs, and the students say that when they do that, which is easy to do online just prior to, but we would let you know, then they just go full-fledged into their program no problem.
And I love that those programs that are non-credit, but we meet other students from so many other programs at Royal Road. So it kind of
Yeah.
gives you that little boost of, okay, we can do this.
Yeah.
Wonderful. And financial aid, we're well aware that going back to school, as you work, as you study, it's a big step. So we have our financial aid and award specialists here at Royal Roads, and you can find the link on the website, and I'll make sure to include that link as well. Always look, because sometimes it's not big amounts, but there's like $1,000 entry award, for example, and this and that. So you can look around, and you can look in your community to see if you can get any grants or any support there. And application support, as I mentioned at the beginning, we have some fantastic enrollment advisor here in the session. So you can reach them at learn.more@royalroads.ca. And I see we have a question. I'll just finish this and then I'll stop the recording and we'll go into questions. But yeah, learn.more@royalroads.ca. You can just say, hey, I attended the MGM webinar. I would like to get to meet with someone. You can meet on Zoom. You can have a phone call. I even think if you're in Victoria, you don't have to be, but if you are, you can even meet on campus. And they will go through, walk you through all the steps you need to take. And a big thank you. I think we're already at the end of the presentation, but this is the fun part. We'll do the Q&A now. So I'll just say a big thank you first, and then I'll stop the recording. Thank you, Deb. Thank you, Tim. And thank you, everyone who is here. You can stay on. I'll just stop the recording and we'll answer questions.
Thanks, Jitender. Go ahead.